Hey, Amy.
Riley.
Amy, how the hell are you today?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm in Eugene, Oregon. I got sick the minute I got here, so I feel like absolute shit. But I feel so excited, no matter what, to talk to Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs today about what we're going to talk about, which is all this Southern Charm shit in those after
Yes.
shows. I am excited. I don't care if I'm sick.
Yes. We'll just say right up front, we're going to focus since last week we recorded in advance of the Summer House after show. We're going to sort of compare and contrast the Summer House after show with the Southern Charm finale and after show, and we're going to hold Atlanta for next week because this is important for our direct interests.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, news-wise, if we just were wanting to talk about news, one huge thing I saw on my end was when that Vanderpump Villa trailer dropped before
Yeah.
me. What the hell was going on there?
I have to say, once I saw it, like obviously we already knew about the Stassi of it all, but I'm like, I don't know if you would have asked me if she would do something like this, if I would if I would agree until I saw it with my own eyes. But I think when we originally heard about it, it made more sense as like a twofer. Like they were like, we'll give you your own show, but you have to boost our other Lisa Vanderpump show.
Do they
You know?
do that? Do they say, "Hey, we would love for you to have another show, but in order for you to have that, please go on this other show and make it slightly better with your appearance"?
I think they bargain like that.
Wow. Yeah. So for me, I was like, okay, well, so I'm going to speak frankly. Is that okay?
Please.
I was kind of like, what the hell is going on this show? It didn't even seem like it was about hospitality anymore.
I
It
don't
seemed
know
like
what it is.
it seemed like Lisa rents a mansion or an Italian castle and just hired a bunch of young people to fight and have sex, and it's not even about the even it didn't look like even for 1 second it was about them taking care of other people and serving them and
Yeah.
bartending. It looked like they're just partying in every single frame of this thing.
Yeah, I a few weeks ago. So, I'm obsessed with Cinematrix, but now they have Telematrix, like a TV version. And there was one that was like reality TV based, and I think was it Lisa Vanderpump herself on it? Must have been. But anyways, one of the categories was competition show, and I put Vanderpump Villa, and it was like, eh. And I'm like, what
Really?
even? I'm like, I guess they get voted off or they don't. She says in this trailer something like, do this or like you'll be going home.
She fires people. I believe she reserves the right to fire people. But if I don't know what type of behavior gets you fired from Vanderpump Villa, because I think I've seen it all in terms of what they do. It seemed like they had removed even the hospitality factor, the competition factor at all, and it was just about those same cast members coming back and partying with each other. Last season, I didn't find any of those cast members to be too engaging. I felt like I don't know, not the best casting, and then Stassi and Bo kind of just felt really out of place within that thing.
Shoehorned.
Yeah, like what the hell? Stassi's gonna say like, "Hey," Lisa goes. It was kind of a good segue. Lisa goes, "I can't be there, for every moment. So I have eyes and ears coming to join you all." And then it's Stassi and Bo pulling up to that Italian
Yeah.
castle, and then Stassi goes, "Are you freaking kidding me? I'm in an Italian castle." And I was like, it's very comforting to see Stassi and Bo, but this is probably not at all going to be the best place for them to showcase their spirit and their
Yeah.
fun. And then it was kind of like, then they were using it as an opportunity to get some exclusive Stassi and Bo relationship conflict. Like Bo was like, "I don't want to sleep alone in this Italian castle. I'm scared it's haunted." And Stassi was like, you have to be alone sometimes." And he was like, "I don't want to be alone." And then that one of those one of those cast members goes, "I am getting a sneak peek into Stassi and Bo fighting, and I love it." And I was like, what kind of show is this? You guys.
It's like the demise of their marriage in the walls of like a haunted castle.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I know Lisa Vanderpump wants a lot of outlets for self and
Yeah.
to showcase herself. But this
mean,
one,
they know what they're doing because we literally have no choice but to watch it now. Like, we really fell off last time.
yeah.
But this time, because of Stassi being such a premium get that we haven't seen in so long, we literally are forced. It's the biggest carrot of all time. Like, we have to watch it.
Yeah, there's going to be some stuff. And I'm sure, like you said at one point, Stassi and Bo are going to go, well, our work here is done. Now, I want to take a flight to my home to be back with my daughter, Hartford.
Do you think they're going to backdoor it?
Yep. And then it's going to go, the plane or the cameras will continue, and then they'll walk into their house and they'll go, it is so good to be home. And then it'll be called the Stassi Schroeder Show. What was it called?
Did they tell us?
Do you think something's going on wrong with that?
It's been a while, but I mean, I guess just when we started to ask questions about that, we got this trailer, so maybe
Right.
we're on track.
Yeah, I will be. I mean, I'm excited to see Stassi in a new, television forum, and I am excited to see what's going on with them, back. But this is just probably not going to be the best context for them. But if it leads us to, Stassi's show, then,
Yeah.
who am I to say?
It was called Stassi Says.
Stassi Says. Oh, well, I don't know if I was frank when that first came out, but that's not the best title. Stassi Says.
Imagine the key art. It's gonna be like. Do you think it's gonna be like her in the front with Bo holding both kids in the back, being like, "Whoa"?
Yeah, it's gonna be him trying to juggle Hartford and Bo, or what's his boy's name? Hartford.
Messer.
I forgot about Messer. It's gonna be what's his name? Stassi in the front, and Bo is gonna be in the back juggling the two children. Messer is gonna be behind his neck, and there's gonna be cake on one side of his face, and then drawing crayon marker on one side of his face.
Yeah, it's hard to handle it all.
Is Stassi Says? I have to say this. Do you care? Is it supposed to be a play on Simon Says?
What's the origin of Simon Says?
Simon Says is an iconic game. It's Simon says go, Simon says stop, put your finger on your face, and then when someone puts their finger on their face, you go.
Isn't there also like an electronic game named called Simon?
Yeah. Do you want to? Let's use our computers.
Like
Simon
the buttons,
Says.
the color
Simon,
buttons.
yeah, yeah. I think you're thinking of Yak It Up or
No, Simon.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So Simon Says is the game I'm thinking of. Simon is that really colorful, fun thing where you go
But then Hasbro
red, blue.
put a spin on it and called it just Simon.
Oh, I just Googled Simon with no context, and then it goes just a full Simon Cowell page. So I think, yeah, I don't like that title. I hope that was one of the first things that they workshopped. The Stassi Schroeder Show. The Schroeder Show? Stassi. I mean, it is hard to think. It is hard to think of a title.
Yeah, we'll think on that. It's my freaking birthday. What are her iconic lines?
I'll get you a Pinot Grigio. I mean, I think if it's, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, what do you really name it? But Stassi Says. I don't think I fully am on board with that, unless you are.
What does she say? I don't know, but we'll have to see. But we will be watching Vanderpump Villa, what was the, we should write these things down. When is it going to be on?
Oh my God. Let me look. Vanderpump Villa.
Ooh, it's soon, April 24th.
Oh my God. I can't wait. And I'm going to be less than frank now. I can't wait to see this shit. Whatever Lisa's got up her sleeves, I want it. Can Lisa pull magic out of a hat again? The odds say absolutely yes. Combined with Stassi being on here, holy shit, we've got a show. I love this. I just think they need to get I'm going to say it, pardon my French, these little stinkers off this show. And make it should have just been Stassi and Lisa go to a mansion.
It's just an old Vanderpump Sir rotation working at a villa.
Yeah, we're on Patreon. We're recapping the era where Stassi is Lisa's personal assistant, or not really. She's an event planner, but she only plans events for Lisa.
And this is already planned.
And this is straight back to the well for them.
Totally.
Well, is there we'll move on, but what would you have made Vanderpump Villa about?
I think it could be her and Nick Elaine choosing the next great lighting designer.
I love that. I was just thinking, I love that. So let's say that's it. That's the show. And I'll only add one more. I'll only add one more. I think it just should have been. I think that Vanderpump Villa should have been just like a Lisa on Beverly Hills, but it's just 40 minutes of what she does as a restaurateur, and like they more focus on all of the new restaurants, not just Sir,
Yeah.
but like we got Wolf now,
Yeah.
we got the three Caesars restaurants. She's going to be building that hotel. I would much rather see 30 minutes of just whatever it's called. I mean, we're not thinking of titles anymore. That's not something you and I do. But it could be it could be so close to Vanderpump Villa. But it's just a 30-minute show where she is mainly focused on being one of the most world-renowned restaurateurs and just all the shit that she does in a day to like make that a reality. I would much rather see that than Vanderpump Villa.
Like a Bet on Blonde, but
Totally.
Lisa building a hotel.
Absolutely. A Lisa special where each season is about what she did to make Wolf happen. It would be seeing Lisa at what she loves to do, and she doesn't even need to be like that funny. She doesn't need to focus on a young cast. Like I just want to see what you do to like renovate a restaurant and give it all of those Lisa quirks. And maybe I'm saying this and it's like the worst show of all time, but Vanderpump Villa, for some reason, that concept of just wanting drunken young people to like hook up and fight, if they're not compelling, it's not very good. And that's not also like, I don't need to see Lisa Vanderpump in that context anymore, really.
I mean, there's an era where Bravo used to be shooting off spin-offs all the time. Like Candy has had like 5 spin-offs. She had that like ski one, and she had like one that was just her family.
She had a ski one?
Wasn't there like, it was like Candy's ski vacation?
Candy goes skiing? That's awesome. I want to watch that.
Candy's trip.
I'm going skiing.
In 2015, I really pulled that from the background of my mind.
Candy's ski trip. That's awesome. Yeah, I want to see more stuff like that.
Candy's a producer. She's like pitching constantly that like the other ladies don't do.
Oh my God. Candy's ski trip. The show focused on Candy Burris, her husband Todd Tucker, and their family as they go on a ski trip together.
Should we do a Patreon for that?
The series, let's do all these one-offs. The series received relatively high ratings. Relatively. Wow. It was just 3 episodes. I really want to watch that. Yeah, I that's Hulu. You listen to this segment. You've got it now. That's what you do with Lisa, and Lisa will love it too. Whatever promotes her businesses and gets her to show off the unique decisions she makes to like make that new hotel, Vanderpump Hotel, like that's going to be interesting to watch. Yeah. But then let me be less than frank and let's pull this part. I can't wait for Vanderpump Villa season 2. I'm gonna watch the shit out of this thing, and I cannot wait to see Stassi back in this format. Hell yeah, Hulu. Good job. I love you.
We've all been waiting for.
I love you, Hulu, and I love Lisa Vanderpump, obviously.
It goes without saying.
It goes without saying.
The other thing that, the last thing that we were talking about on the group thread late last night, it was an after hours XXX conversation.
Totally.
We got a comment from a little turtle cutie that there was a Reddit thread going around trying to decipher if West Wilson's penis was on display in last week's Summer House episode. And I'll let you guys look for yourself. It's on the Real Housewives subreddit, I believe. And it's really sort of a blue and black, white and gold dress scenario because I can see it both ways. If I saw some people calling it like a magic eye, where if you blur your eyes, you can sort of see it. And then if you unblur, you can't see it anymore.
Yeah. I did every iteration of that. I closed one eye, I opened one, I watched it in the dark. No, and you guys sent it on Reddit, and I go, okay, how do I pull this up? And it goes, this is too X rated for you to look at. You got to download the Reddit app to get access to this. And thankfully, one of our friends pulled it off Reddit and let us see it. But no, you're exactly right. Magic eye. But can I just say, I think it's fully just hair.
Yeah, it's like, without getting too explicit, it appears to be, you see something poking above his waistband of his boxers when Jesse wakes him up with when he pours water on his head.
Yeah.
But then he like turns over, and so it could either be like a little like circular tuft of hair.
Right. Yeah.
If you blur your eyes one way, I see it completely. But then it also appears to be dimensional if you look another way.
True. Yeah. And we were split in the group chat. It was, I would say, 2 or 3 people saw penis. And this is graphic, so skip 30 seconds. But 3 people thought they saw the tip of his penis sticking out of the waistband of his underwear. And I'll say 2 to 3 people just saw hair. And once you see hair, it's really hard to go back to penis. It's really hard to go back to penis. But
we had like full JFK diagrams being drawn because and this also goes to say that sucks if it actually is that is bad for him. But
well, the real test will be if we go to watch this episode. So everyone, Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs, go to last week's Summer House, and if it's still there, it must be hair.
It's just like a black bar.
As
of last night on Peacock, it was still there.
See? So they know it's not a penis. They would never let that thing. Do you remember? You didn't watch Game of Thrones, but they let a coffee cup. I forget what her name was. Daenerys. She was drinking Starbucks in one of the scenes, and she was like, "Jon Snow."
Superimpose a little goblet in front of it.
Yeah. So the night it aired, it was just a Starbucks cup sitting next to her, and then the next day, once the internet went nuts, they had turned it into a full chalice filled with wine.
Wow, that's a fast turnaround. Somebody got a late night call.
Yeah. So if his penis was the tip of his penis was poking out of his underwear, they are going to blur that thing out. Totally.
I wonder if they would rectify it just because people think it's that.
Would they? No, then it would lead more people who are on the penis side. That would give more fodder to those theorists that it was a penis.
Should we ask him for an exclusive comment? Is that pestering?
I think so. Yeah, let's think about that before we commit to fully asking it.
I just saw a movie yesterday at the Egyptian with Annette Bening, and she did a Q&A after, and it was from the 80s, and she's nude in the movie at least 3 times, totally nude. And the Q&A guy, immediately the first question, he was like, how was it watching yourself like that in front of an audience, whatever? And I'm like, why is your first question about her nudity, you freak?
Who was the moderator? Howard Stern?
I wish.
Who was it, and what film was it?
It was The Grifters. It's like a noir from the 80s.
Oh, I remember. I've seen that poster.
The guy was I don't know. He said that they had done a Q&A before on TCM. I don't know who he was though, but he was Eddie Muller.
Eddie Muller. Was that a good movie? It doesn't look. I'm not a huge John Cusack guy.
It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it was all LA. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Fun.
Was Annette Bening nice?
Yes, she's fab.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, good. Yeah. Did he make any other mistakes like that when he was moderating, or he just talked about nudity for a second?
The main flub.
All right. Any other news, even pop culture or Bravo? We didn't. I mean, that was it, right?
Yeah. I saw. I don't know. What's been going on? I feel like I've been seeing continued positive sentiment for Tom Sandoval in his TikTok comments.
Really?
Yeah, I saw Ben Stiller was talking about Severance and was comparing some of the characters to traitors. So he really is watching Bravo-centric stuff.
I thought he was going to compare it to Dorit and Kyle. I thought he was going to say there's some interesting moments where 2 cast members can bond, and it reminded me of that one scene where Kyle
I also saw, this is kind of dark, but I saw I think it was Tamra and Teddy talking, because Teddy still, I think, upholds her 2 different podcasts. She has one with Erica and one with Tamra. But she was saying that she received... Oh, actually, this is a little Turtle Cutie shout-out. Vicky Gunvalson sent Teddy a Real Housewives coloring book, which I believe one of our listeners is the creator of, because we were sent them last year.
That's amazing.
And it was the same one. And Teddy was like, I barely know Vicky, but that's really nice. Like, it was sort of like with a nice note, you know? And she goes, I haven't heard from Dorit, but I've heard from Vicky, who I barely know. So she was saying that Dorit hasn't said shit to her on her journey.
Wow.
Being really sick.
Holy shit. Wow. Well, I want to say, I don't think we've ever officially said this, but we're wishing the best, obviously, for Teddy going through this horrible, horrible time.
Yeah.
And so I have all of my sympathy for Teddy going through that. And I cannot believe that Dorit has not given that voice of support over to Teddy. Yeah. Vicky was the one who was a recipient of Teddy saying, greetings, housewives and Vicky, when they had that traders night, and Vicky doesn't care.
She's such a bitch.
Yeah, and Vicky was still nice enough to give her a wonderful coloring book. So that's sweet.
Did you see her and Shep, Teddy and Shep got together? That was an unforeseen. I guess I remember that kind of that they like grew up together.
Yes, I remember that too. They went to the same high school or something, right?
That's a weird one when you blur the show genres when people are the same age,
right?
Like a housewife and an under 42 like are the same age. You're like, what?
It blows your mind every time. They do it on Watch What Happens Live. They go, who's older out of these two people? And people are constantly shocked when they find out who is older and who is younger. Well, speaking of Shep, of Shep and Teddy, I have to say, let's talk about all this Southern Charm stuff that's going on, and these two rival after shows that really pit their cast members against gets their voices heard about the Paige and Craig dynamic. Like, both after shows came out at the same time, and they're voicing their opinions and takes on the shattering of Craig and Paige's relationship. So we'll talk about that after the Southern Charm finale. But I want to say up front, I thought this was an absolutely awful finale.
So boring.
So boring, so bad. You and I didn't talk about this beforehand. I didn't know I didn't know if I was going out on a full limb. I think this was absolutely worst case scenario in almost every way.
It had no momentum. Like, there was no reason for the event. Like, there was no fire. I kept sighing as I slogged through it. I was like, this sucks.
I was pissed. I was having to explain to my sister and brother-in-law who don't watch Bravo shows. I go, this is worst case scenario. I go, Rodrigo popping in this room to be a part of this horrendous Ryan and Vanita conversation is worst case scenario. Everyone is navigating this badly, doing the worst, and it's because the B-level squad all got to run rampant in this finale, and they all do not know how to do anything on this show. And Austin and Craig and everybody, Shep, are just kind of on their own journey. They're like, this season sucks. Nip it in the bud. Wrap this thing up. This is awful. And then they let Rodrigo, Ryan, Vanita, Sally, Taylor get their way with this summer soiree, and it was just horrendous to watch. And then you couldn't even get the icing on a pile of shit with the final conversation. They chopped that thing up into oblivion. I mean, we're going to get into this.
I guess my thought is that they want to save it for the reunion so that we're forced to but I'm like, you already dragged us along thinking that we were going to get it here. And so I'm like, I don't even believe you that we're going to get anything good at the reunion. Like, you literally picked up cameras again, just let them play. Like, they cut it up like it was like a sample platter, like it was like a trailer. Yeah,
we all were stunned. I was explaining to everyone, I was like, this is normally what they would do if it was going to go to commercial and then you actually saw the scene. All of those cuts, they basically just chopped up Craig's most, not even salacious, but just the most the quotes about what happened, and that was it. Like, the scene was awful. 2 minutes that we were waiting for that. Oh, Norman is here.
Norman on the mic.
So I was like, whoa, even you and I were giving it the benefit of the doubt. We were like, at the very least, even though this was a lackluster season, at least we get to see the fallout from the Craig conversation, talking to Shep and Austin. And that scene was awful. I mean, there was no, you're right, there was no entertainment from it. It was just getting Craig's side of things chopped up. So let's talk about it, and then we'll just talk about, I guess, what went wrong and what's horrible about it.
Let me get this feline out of here. He's purring too loud.
Okay, and I'll start us off. And then the fact that the I'm going to say these words because it's a big part of the episode, but the show us your tits thing came back in such
God.
a big way.
They tried so hard to make it happen, but unfortunately the woman who it was about didn't care.
Yeah, no, seriously. So it opens with the conclusion of the Vanita and JT conversation. This is probably, besides the Molly and Shep stuff, this is probably what I was like most interested in, just to see this conversation. But it's not very dramatic because they're both just on the same side. You know, Vanita already believes JT at this point that he probably didn't say the some black girl comment, and so they kind of just have to talk it out. And it's more JT venting about why someone like Ryan would do this, and then Vanita is basically like, well, I don't ever want to talk to Ryan again. I'm really mad at him. I might have to bring up at the summer soiree that this really offended me, that he kind of pit me against someone that I really value by potentially misquoting them, that barber conversation.
Yeah. But they also kind of chop up what JT says. Like, when it's about literal semantics, like the entire drama is about, he said something that sounded similar to what they claim he said, but it's the tone and the wording is important. And they cut up when he said what he said. And I was like, no, you have to let it play exactly so that we know what he's talking about.
Yeah, do you think that they were trying to give it more air of mystery to make it like, I don't know, more interesting still or something, even though we had seen the actual conversation?
What he actually said was worse. Skip that.
Yeah. Yeah, I blame Ryan for bringing this up. I think that the semantic stuff, like, that is really not something that we should be focused on. In a better world, on a different Bravo show, this stuff doesn't even really get aired, but it is because they are all just absolutely struggling to make something powerful happen on this season. That's why Ryan's getting a little piece of the action. That's why Sally, I feel, with the show me your tits thing, I feel like she wanted her proverbial cake and eat it too. She wanted to bring up the idea that someone wanted to see her tits and then still say, but obviously I know it was playful and fun and just being silly. But in a way, like, I feel like Taylor, because she thinks the worst of Sally, she was thinking that Sally intentionally was trying to, like, bring that up to see what fodder she could get out of it by pretending, or no, not pretending, but just saying that Austin really wanted to see her tits in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Also, I feel like they kind of had to skate past the Ryan and Madison were talking about throwing the party at an old jail, and I was like, I don't want to think too long about an old jail in fucking Charleston. Like, please no.
I know. By the time the after show was coming out, they were calling it their jail party.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I also, I mean, I guess the historic value of it, but I don't know if it needs to be an event space. I'd rather go on a tour and think about the atrocities that happened in there,
sure.
you know?
Yeah, it's like Blake Lively's wedding venue, but anyways.
Oh! Whoa! Okay, no further questions.
Your Honor.
Yeah, no further questions, Your Honor. So Madison wants, Ryan's apparently, his option bit the dust, and so now he has to rely on Madison. She goes, let's go to this old jail. I think that's the best place for our party. And then next is a scene with Shep and Whitney. And kind of...
Whitney is so, like, I do not need to see him anymore.
Yeah.
He's, like, the weirdest old vibe where I'm just like, he's not fun to watch. It's like he feels very out of place at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's definitely jarring in any scene. And I really felt like I couldn't separate the fact that he is the executive producer of this franchise with also the fact that at this lunch, he just told Shep exactly what to do from a dramatic standpoint. In a way, I was like, I know that you're his friend and you would probably give this advice, but it also seemed to me like an executive producer saying, like, this shit is this is absolute shit, let's make something happen, get Molly on the phone right now and take her to this finale party, because it was really the only thing that I found to have merit this episode. I know,
I felt like bad for Molly because they tried to use her as the like finale, like they needed something, and she was just like, okay, like, I'll play along.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you about that. Whitney says, Shep, you need to live up to the legend of Shep William Rose. Did you like that? I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Because he was like, you shouldn't pine over people. He goes, I've never seen you this emotional over someone. It's time to find a hottie, take him to this party, and then that's when he says, call Molly. And I have to ask, some people are skeptical of if this Shep and Molly thing is real or if they're just trying to give us some, romance. And I don't know. Where do you fall on that?
Felt fake to me.
Wow.
I think that Shep was willing to he had a whole dating show that was like fake relationship or
Was
whatever.
that good? I never saw it.
I think I tried to watch it when it was first on and I fell off, but we should watch that again just because. Okay. But I think he was just like, what is he like not gonna want to kiss a girl for 2 minutes? I think he was like, sure, like whatever. But I don't think he's interested in her like really at all.
Really? Wow.
No.
I guess I think you're probably right because I'm such a bad judge of romance and if people like each other. So Shep being that goofy and silly, you think he was just kind of because he doesn't truly care about this in any way. He just knows it's good entertainment for Southern Charm.
Yeah.
But Molly likes him in a way.
I don't think she's like in love with him, but I think she's like attracted to him and is like willing to play along. Like even the kiss was like a joke. It was like a dare.
Do you think they made love?
I think they said they did.
Yeah, but do you think they made love despite it was more of like a casual
Well, she needed to break her streaks though.
So they were still able to have sex with each other. They were still able to have sex with each other, but maybe their hearts fully aren't in this relationship.
Shep has had sex with like 40,000 women, so it's not particularly special just because he had sex with someone as a rebound.
You're right. You're possibly right. So yeah, they order a bunch of chicken nuggets and stuff, and then it's kind of over this scene. I did like that place where they went to eat. Did you like it? Kind of on the water.
On the water, yeah. Okay, then we get Paige and Craig. I am relieved that we don't have to watch them in the car calling each other chicken any longer. I'm sick of it.
I think we got a couple more chickens on Summer House, but yeah, there was a couple chickens on this one. Paige was definitely very withdrawn in this scene, almost like I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to participate anymore on Southern Charm. And they kind of play this like this is the last scene because in the Southern Charm universe, it is the last scene between them. But then we know as we watch Summer House that 1 month later or 2 months later, they have all of these additional scenes together, So this wasn't as loaded as I thought it was because they're basically, we're seeing them on Summer House after this.
Yeah. Yeah, and she talks about, they're talking about her schedule and how busy she's going to be coming up and they're not going to get to see each other very much. And she's like, yeah, I do this and then I go to Italy with my family, then I go on tour. And I'm like, he went on that.
Yeah.
Vacation.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Paige said that her and her brother were making fun of him the entire time because he was ordering cappuccinos at the wrong time, after 11.
Yeah, so maybe that was a last-minute decision for him to join, not originally the plan. But yes, this is the end of them in this iteration.
Yep, in this universe. And Craig is also saying that we've never gone like 1 week without making a plan to see each other. And Paige is talking about her busy schedule with the tour and everything, and you can tell Craig is a little nervous. He's smiling. He's like, chicken, we don't normally, we normally have plans to see each other. We're not normally this out of sync. And then Paige keeps throwing these perfect editor's fodder where she keeps saying things that sound like the worst thing in the world because they ultimately end up being the worst thing. She goes, this is the last time you're going to see me, Craig, and you just don't know it. And the editors were like, I can't believe she says stuff like this. We get so many clips of Paige talking about the end of the relationship and then actually ending it. And then they say goodbye. But Paige, didn't really give much to this scene. She seemed like she wanted to get on that plane back to New York City so bad. She goes, I can't wait to go back to New York where I just can order DoorDash and not see anybody. And I was like, wow, New York has the most people in the world. Is that what New Yorkers like? Like they don't want to be around people, but they...
Well, that's the Paige school of business. I saw a TikTok last night that was like shooting my audition tape for Summer House, and it was just them like sleeping in bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty funny. Okay.
But so, and then we'll get into it when we talk through the after show, but specifically Shep and Patricia have a lot of rage about Paige's level of participation on the show. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. Okay. The event is here. It's at an old jail, obviously. This thing is perfect decoration-wise, except I have to say, Ryan hates these feathers that are all over the place. He talks about them about 7 times. He gets rid of them. He even tells the interior or the event planner, he goes, I loved absolutely everything, but those feathers, I couldn't stand them. I had to put them in a different room. And then those
later, when they're like in the little room to have the fight, he's like, I don't know how those feathers got in here. I don't even like those. And Lev was like, okay, whatever.
She goes, what are you doing back there? Are you really moving the feathers? We're about to have a scene together. Did you like those feathers?
They're whatever. It's fine.
Yep. I think so too. And then Austin and Craig use this opportunity to get ready together. And they're like, wow, it feels like we're, back in sync together. We're getting ready at each other's houses, having a beer, I think a couple IPAs. And then Austin says, guess what? I was texted by Taylor that Sally is kind of talking about the time I screamed, show me your tits at her in the Bahamas. And then we see a flashback to a scene where this is true. Sally goes, yeah, Austin wanted to see my tits really bad in the Bahamas. He was screaming in a group setting, I want to see your tits. And then Leva's going, oh my God. Because I'm so divided on this, because out of context, we know this context, but in no context is it actually a good thing to scream, show us your tits. But we're used to that, like, being a concept, like at a rock show.
Right.
Do people say show us your tits at a rock show?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't at all defend that Austin was screaming. You and I were aghast. I didn't even think it really happened when he actually said it. So I kind of understand Sally talking about it, but then also I feel like Taylor thought, because she doesn't like Sally, like I already said, that Sally was trying to make a big meal of this at the end of a season that maybe she didn't have high hopes that she had created enough drama. So this is like a last pull to make something happen. And then it really does get about 15 minutes of this episode.
On the after show, Austin is like, they bring it up and he goes, it would have been one thing if I would have been like, let me see those hose hounds. Like, that would have been a problem. And then Shep is like, what the hell? He's like, everything you just said is a problem. And I was like, what are hose hounds? Have you heard that before?
No, I had to look it up, and I'm going to look it up now again. But no, I've never heard breasts called that, even for 1 second. I mean, you search up hose hounds, and there's nothing. So,
what is this?
Yeah, what's the hose part? Did he say hose?
I think so.
Yeah, I really don't know. Shep was taken aback.
It looks like there's a quote, fun bags on that hose hound from Dumb and Dumber. I bet that's what it is.
Oh, totally. And Shep loves Dumb and Dumber. I think
they all do. Every under 42 on Bravo loves Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, and I believe Austin and Craig dressed up in those blue and orange suits at one point, or maybe Shep and Austin, if I'm getting the combo.
Tom did. But maybe more than one of them have.
Yeah. Oh, so it's just like fun, Dumb and Dumber reference, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But I love that Shep had to be like, dog, like, stop.
Yeah, we don't call him that. And then, so Taylor was trying to warn him that, hey, maybe Sally is putting some malicious spin on this. So then at that point, Austin knows he's going to have to talk to Sally. Now we get to my favorite scene of the episode. I love now that I know that it's quite possibly fake. This makes me not like it as much. But when I was in the mindset that Shep and Molly love each other, I thought this was about as fun as it gets. Shep goes up to Molly's house, and there's a door knocker, and I've seen some door knockers in my time. There's the one from Christmas Carol where it's like a huge like a big I don't even know how to describe it, like a huge just a knocker or whatever. This one is a man, right, with a huge testicles hanging from his body, and Shep is having the time of his life. He keeps banging them on the door.
They're
and
like
then
truck nuts.
It's giving total truck nuts. And Molly goes, stop, or she goes, she opens the door and he still can't stop banging them. He goes, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I can't stop knocking these things. And Molly goes, yeah, that was a gift from my brother. I think those are really fun too.
That's insane. You know what is funny? I brought up last week, maybe it was on Patreon, that I was watching Mighty Aphrodite.
Oh, right.
And she's supposed to be like unsophisticated, you know? And
Yeah.
he's like Woody Allen, like New York, like writer, like sort of cultured.
Yeah.
And she has a bunch of like gag stuff in her house, like a clock where like it's like two pigs like having sex.
Oh.
And she's like, isn't that great? Like, I love that. And she has all this like nasty shit in her house. And he's like, oh my God. It was like that.
What? I'm trying to think of what Woody would say.
He was very flustered.
I'm not going to do a Woody Allen live right now, but I can't even imagine that what Woody Allen said when he saw those two pigs having sex on a clock. That's kind of what this is. It's like Calvin when they desecrate Calvin, that wonderful comic with him pissing on various stuff. But you could say that these are ironic. And then Shep's got I'm just gonna say it, balls on the brain, because when he goes in, he goes, I need to use your toilet immediately. It's not a big deal. Just let me use your bathroom. And no, I'm not gonna pull a total something about Mary in there. He goes, do you remember that scene where Ben Stiller went in the bathroom and he got his balls caught in his zipper? And Molly goes, yes, I love that movie. That's very funny.
And then he goes in the bathroom. He goes, ow! And
Yeah.
she's like, what? And he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you've seen Something About Mary, right?
Yes.
So you knew that scene instantly.
Yes.
Yeah, he goes, ow, like as if he goes, and then he goes, I'm joking.
She should have answered the door with her bangs up.
Oh my God, Molly would have gotten so much credit if she came out and did that. Exactly.
I was young enough when that movie came out that it was like, that was like a viral, like viral moment. Like it was like very shocking. The like,
how did we see
sperm
it?
Bangs.
How did we see it back then on television?
I don't know. Like,
'Cause-
maybe, or like, yeah, like certain people maybe had the tape or something, but I was so young that I didn't know what it meant.
Of course, me neither. I gotta see. I'm gonna be so lame if people do my age and they find out that I didn't know what this was. And it's like
You're
Something
like
About Mary came out.
17.
It's like Something About Mary came out when you were in college. Like, what are you talking about? But for anybody who hasn't seen There's Something About Mary, there might be some. I would say in 1998. So I was. Okay.
I was
yeah.
10.
Okay. Yeah, so he goes, you gotta, I'm gonna say this, so this is graphic talk. Go 30 seconds forward. He goes, you gotta masturbate before you go on a high pressure date, because then you get that out. And then, I think, what does he do? He... we don't have to explain, but she ends up using it as hair gel, right? And then that's that
so
iconic.
Disgusting. I hate all of this. I hate Dumb and Dumber. I hate the Farrelly Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you weren't seeing I know that you don't like that reference or something, but you didn't think that this is fun chemistry. You thought it was just like odd.
The episode overall was so bad that I was just like dispirited. Like I was just like, all right, like whatever.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with you too. I mean, I was actually searching for moments where I could find joy, and this was maybe I'm overrating it, because there were so many sparse fun moments. So then what? They arrive. They start coming to this party. And it's a very, very, it's a worst case scenario. And you and I have talked about this so much, but I don't know what the ideal party is for a finale party. This is obviously, the worst version of what you can do, where it's just the cast and like 3 or 4 other people, and it just looks sparse. It looks dead. It looks not fun. We also know that the worst case scenario is like the whiskey party in Vanderpump Rules, where everyone is peeking over your shoulders, filming you, and like they're all fans. Like, you don't want that. Yeah. But you also don't want
this.
There's
no reason for this party. There used to be, there was like always that built-in party on Southern Charm over the years that like, that, what was his name? Not JT, JP?
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about that wonderful, wonderful man, JD, who was Thomas Ravenel's best friend,
who like didn't hire Craig at the distillery or whatever.
Yeah,
he used to always have that like ball or whatever, and it felt like something that actually happened anyways, that people coveted an invite to a certain extent. Like it got kind of wild. People would get dressed up for it, so it felt like it had some energy to it. And this felt like a fake version of that was was meaningless.
Yeah, he did. I think he did make up Carolina Day.
Yes.
He did make it up, but yeah, there was a lot. Like there was the cast, and then there was a bunch of other people, and those people didn't care about being on this television show, so it just felt more real. But this party was so lackluster that like the energy in the room, you could just tell. Like everyone was like, "This sucks. This sucks." Like Shep and Molly were so bored that they're having to like dance with each other around the room to just bring like any sort of energy to this party. So we'll talk about that. But they all arrive. It's kind of boring. I think Austin goes up to Sally pretty quickly and goes, "I got to nip this thing in the bud." I was saying, "Show me your tits" in a fun way because I wanted to see your tits for the last time before you had your breast reduction surgery. If you weren't receptive of that, I want to give you the forum to talk about the counter to that, right? So, something like that.
Yeah. And she's like, "No, like I knew you were joking because I was getting my implants taken out." And she's like, "Why? How did that even come up?" And he goes, "It was brought to my attention by Taylor." And Sally's like, "I don't even know why she's making it a big deal. Like, I didn't say that to her, like I wasn't complaining, but it sounds like maybe she was." But yeah, it's just like, I don't know.
I don't think that "show us your tits" gate, or Shep called it tits gate. I don't think that this would have risen to the finale had they had more stuff to work with. A huge problem with this episode, I was like, you cut that Craig conversation at the end of this thing to shit and gave it 2 minutes. And you needed more room for this shit from this party that was the worst, one of the worst parties I've ever seen in Southern Charm history. Like, why? Where was the editing prowess here? Like, I would have taken 15 more minutes of that conversation if this is the alternative.
Yeah. I guess I've been, this weekend, I background watched some Southern Hospitality. And so, yeah, I've seen Sally in the mix.
Yeah.
Taylor's been in the mix. I saw the little James Kennedy.
Wow.
Yes. But yeah, I really was doing other things while it was on. But
so I won't ask you any questions. But so you're far into season 2, though.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you are.
But yeah, Sally's like more in the mix than I thought.
Yeah, she has a full plot line. Her and Joe Bradley were supposed to go on a wonderful date, and then JT or TJ, I forget, JT, TJ, his name is TJ. He says, "Hey, she hooked up with Gaston. She made love to him," or I think
she's playing you. Kind of
yeah, and Joe goes, "Oh, God." He goes, "I'm so pissed. Oh, shit. Oh, God."
JT was also there at one
point.
Yeah.
It's you, without the Southern Hospitality context, I would have no idea who Sally was, and you get Sally's entry level story on Southern Hospitality, and you get the start of the Gaston relationship, which they referenced on Southern Charm. Yeah, so well, good. So how do you feel about Southern Hospitality, even casually watching it as you are?
It was filling the void I needed. Like, I was like looking at flights and like online shopping and like doing stuff like that, so it was kind of perfect for that.
Oh, good.
I'm hoping season 3 will be worthwhile, but it sounds like you say nay.
Oh my God, no! It's even worse.
Okay.
My main points about Southern Hospitality is that it's about Will and Emmy for 3 full seasons, which I think I've already talked about that. There's even more Will and Emmy in season 3, and then I also could not care less about Maddie and Joe's burgeoning relationship. I think it's not at all charming or fun, and those are the only 2 things that Southern Hospitality has going for it.
Can I also say that Republic, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Is my idea of hell.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! The more of those firework signs come out, 6 of those every single time with
like
the alarm bells.
Service, loud music, and like sparklers.
I do want
Stimulation Central.
I do want to go with you though. I want you and I to just get a huge table and
we just spend like $2,000 on
Hey.
bottle service.
And we of course are going to request congrats Amy and Riley, and that's going to come to the table. I would love that so much. But we'll talk about Southern Hospitality someday, for sure. Okay, So what? Okay, so Austin and Sally are both like, yeah, we know it wasn't a big deal. I didn't mean it as a big deal. It's worse to me that Taylor tried to stir something up and give it the worst intention. And I'm just going to give Sally the benefit of the doubt because what she said is technically true. In that group setting, she said Austin yelled, "You wanted to see my tits," or he said, "Show me your tits." So she should say that. I mean, in what world is "show me your tits"? Should it just be treated casually and not something that is ever referenced? So then now I'm kind of like, I do think Taylor was trying to give Austin a legitimate heads up, but now they get to point the blame at Taylor for making this an even bigger deal. So I guess I'll allow that Sally wanted to make more of that in the scene that they have coming up.
Right. Okay. Patricia does not want to be here. When she arrives, she goes inside immediately because it's so hot, and then it appears that she's there for 20 minutes max.
She's not having fun. Not at all. It was too hot. It's not a fun party. She wanted those feathers to be there, I think. And yeah, so Austin was really nice. He goes and talks to her for a second. They have maybe a 2-minute scene. Ryan's kind of being nice to Patricia too, but yeah, there's just not much that Patricia is doing in this context at this party. Yeah. She leaves within an hour, I think.
Yeah. Everyone's watching Shep and Molly all night. They're talking about their height difference and how she likes a guy that's taller than her. And he's like, it's rare for me to find a girl who I can see eye to eye. And then they're starting to talk about sex with a tall person or a short person.
He goes, two people with our height can have sex standing up. With a short person, I'm not sure if you're going to get that same sexual type of posture. And she goes, that's true. Right?
They're giving friend zone to me.
Oh wow! I mean, you're right, 90% of the time. So if we find out that just completely fizzled out, I can't be surprised. Yeah. So I think you're probably right.
Yes. Okay. Then we get Sally v. Taylor, which is the least exciting feud I've ever seen because I literally don't care.
Yeah, Sally's going for it. She's saying I have to make Southern Charm work. I graduated from Southern Hospitality. I'm here. I'm becoming friends with people. So I was given a gift that Taylor put my name back in her mouth. So I don't think it's great. It wasn't a good conflict, and I also don't really appreciate Sally trying to make a bigger deal out of everything. I wish that at this point she just felt comfortable that she's probably getting a second season, but I also understand that she's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that if she can have conflict with Taylor, it's an easy target for her to have some antagonism. So I don't blame her for trying to make a moment, but Taylor is not fun to fight with at all because she can't ever push back in any way, and she does walk away very early into this conversation. She says, "I'm good, baby. Cheers to you," and walks away because I think in her mind she thinks having a conversation is beneath her with Sally, and she knows what Sally's doing. But in a way, I'm like, well, Sally's more engaging than you. She has horrible conflict to work with so far, but once she gets good conflict to work with, Sally is going to be a better cast member than you, unfortunately, Taylor. I just have to say it. I just have to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, there's no substance to this conversation. It ends before anything even happens. So anyways, we get a little Shep, Craig, Austin bonding. They do a 3-way hug. I think Austin is kind of lit at this party. He's opening up to Craig emotionally at one point. Yeah. I think also when Austin offered Craig a drink at his house, I always love to see what Austin is offering. I think it was that Athletic Brewing non-alc brand. So he kindly offered that to Craig, which is an olive branch, I think.
I love that. It's going to be either Trop Hop, Athletic non-alc, or it's going to be Waterloo's.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, my least favorite scene. I'm gonna segue us in here. This thing is if you showed this scene to anyone in the world, people would say this is one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. Ryan and Vanita and Leva need a scene together. They want a scene together. Leva has to tell Vanita. She goes, I think that you should have that talk with Ryan that you were talking about. Basically saying, we got to do something here. Yeah. And Vanita goes, I really don't want to. I don't want to at all. In her confessional, she says, I don't like confrontation, so I don't want to do this. So she needs Leva for support to have this conversation. And they both go very nervously up to Ryan to say, can I have a word with you? And Ryan is the most nervous person I've ever seen on camera when he gets pulled into the room. And I'm like, you didn't think that you would ever possibly have a scene about what you said about the JT thing?
Threw a bomb.
You threw one of the biggest bombs of the season, accusing someone of being racist, potentially.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't think that you were going to account for this in any setting? What if JT had come there? Like, he was obviously going to pull you aside. So it's
only.
Yeah, I know. No, seriously, yeah. The lack of JT at this party also ruined a lot of their plans, I'm sure, for the end of this season. It's such a mess. I mean, we talked about Jebediah possibly being in the mix for this thing, and if he was fired, I think it makes perfect sense. The way they handled that finale scene with Craig, like everything about this episode was awful.
Yeah.
They go into a room. They're so awkward. They're so uncomfortable. It is the worst characteristic you can have for a show like this, to not be able to speak your mind and talk about your feelings. And Leva is okay. She looks like she looks like who's the most engaging person in the world?
From Bravo or in general?
Leva is like killing it in this scene because at least she can say her takes on camera, but Vanita and Ryan are unprepared to have this conversation. They really didn't want to. And so the whole thing is like a failure to launch. It's really uncomfortable. And then we don't have to get into the specifics because it's so bad, the way they're talking about it. But then my least favorite thing ever in Bravo history is when people know that one camera is away from them and they have nothing going on. So then Madison and Rodrigo have to peek their heads in at the same time. I was like, Rodrigo, what the hell are you doing? That happens in Southern Hospitality all the time. They're so desperate for screen time that they just follow the cameras around wherever they are. And Rodrigo did that because he knows he has to justify his existence on this show. So not only was it awful from the scene that they were having in the moment, but then also you get the hanger-on B squad. Not Madison. Madison was legitimately trying to defend Ryan for some reason, I think. But Rodrigo, it was just like, get out of here. What are you doing? And I was kind of glad that Ryan said, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of comments right before this that people were, I don't know what they were commenting on, but they were like, Rodrigo is like worthless on this show. What's the point of this? Whatever. Is he a main cast member? What is going on? And he was replying to all the comments like, yo mama.
No, oh my God! Wait, his social media presence—we've already talked about it. Him in that plane with that person without shoes on.
My
Yo,
biggest
mama!
regret not taking a screenshot of that.
Maybe he can release that again, in his story archive or whatever. But I mean, I have to say it. I mean, I don't even know if he's not even great as decor for the. Like, who, like, we talk about Erica and Dorit on Beverly Hills, like, they're so fundamental, but they're like, Erica is, like, not the focus of Beverly Hills, but she's just so good and iconic in every scene, and you want to watch her, but, like, I don't want to get too mean, because I don't want you, could you imagine if Rodrigo said, yo, mama, to me, I'd be so upset, but it's just, like, there is something deeply wrong with a scene like that airing. With how bad that was, that really is a testament to Southern Charm having a major problem with their cast. And
I mean, it was like, so JT he just decided not to participate, so it was ruined because Vanita being left to deal with this when she's so just polite and conflict avoidant and just not great TV. She seems... Well, I was going to say she seems like a lovely person, but I'm like, there's like a lot going on with like the way she's portraying this. I think she's like just lost on the how to run this, because I think you have to be a little bit like sinister to be good at reality TV. You have to be like wheeling and dealing all the time. And she just doesn't have that element, which like is probably for the best in normal life. But I'm like someone like Madison is like best case scenario where she seems like, she doesn't seem evil at all, but she's like smart and like good at doing this. Like she has like galaxy brain about how to like run the show, which like any lasting person has, where they are strategic within reason without being fake, but like they know what's worthwhile, what stories to chase, how to respond, blah blah blah. And Vanita just feels like she's just like there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a perfect summary of what is going on here and the value of certain cast members versus the other ones. It's hard to even pick apart this conversation. Ryan is so flustered. He's so nervous. He
He's like
goes
bright red, although I think he's always red.
He's always really red. I mean, he's uncomfortable on camera.
Yeah.
I am so shocked that Ryan wanted to be on this show.
Yeah.
Like I know it's self-evident why someone would want to be on reality television for fame and for money, but if you know that you are uncomfortable on camera and you're not nervous in every scene, why the hell do you want to be on this show? I mean, I don't understand it, but they let him, so he's like, wow, you must find value in me. Like I'm here to rock and roll with these cast members. But this was all around just awful. And then at some point Vanita dismisses Leva, and it's like, Leva was the one that got you in this room here. She was your support. And Vanita goes, I can't talk now to him truly with you here. And Leva's like, okay, I guess I'll leave. Like what? Like I was the one who made this conversation happen.
I just sneezed on camera. But yeah, and like Ryan gets pissed at Leva. Like they're getting into it, and I'm like, yeah, let this play out actually.
He goes, well, you're not finishing. Leva goes, let me finish. He goes, well, you're not finishing. And he goes, I don't know why you have anything to say about any of this. And I was like, isn't Leva the one you called?
Right.
Didn't he call Leva with the barber thing? All of this is like, it sucks to talk about. It's like, Ryan made a strategically horrible move, and then he can't even back up as horribly. At least Sally can back up a horrible strategic move, even though her fodder is not good to talk about. She's way better on camera. Ryan is having the worst time of his life, and Vanita's having the worst time of her life talking to him. And then finally they don't even resolve anything. It's like, I just want my best friend to know if someone said that, and Vanita's trying to say that like you probably misquoted him. So why don't you, Leva was like, why don't you fact check before you make one of the most salacious accusations in Bravo history about another cast member?
Yeah, he was like, only JT knows what he said. I was like, okay. And then Madison says that she, by like far and away, trusts Ryan over JT, and I was like, I don't even believe you when you say that, but okay.
I don't believe it. And then at some point they're talking about Austin is like, I thought we got rid of that little weasel, and Madison's like, we're trying so hard, but the weasel is gripping for life on Vanita and Leva now. And it's like, I think that Madison still, she obviously just hasn't fully forgiven him, and also she's going to paint JT in the worst brush if she's talking to Austin, because Austin is the true JT hater. We didn't talk about how, we didn't say yet, but JT was talking about where he falls on the Paige versus Craig lines, and he goes, he was reacting to Shep saying Paige doesn't go on trips, and he goes, I get why Paige doesn't want to go on trips with these pieces of shit. And also, I love her and Hannah Berner's chemistry. You guys are on a rocket ship to the moon. And and Austin goes, look at this little piece of shit, this little shit on my shoe. He is a total pick-me boy. That's just par for the course with this little piece of shit. And I was like, oh my God, has anyone ever hated anyone as much as Austin hates JT?
Yeah. Okay, now we get more. Molly and Shep are doing the tango. She flings her shoe off.
I was loving this. Before we talked about this, I was going, woo! I love this dancing. Her shoe flies off. It's a little bit, they're just trying to have fun. And they're in a corner, right? They're in a corner at some point, right?
We also get, this is where Craig and Austin sort of open up about their friendship, and Craig is like, we haven't been in a good place since you've been dating Audrey, so I've never really asked you about it. And earlier in the show they showed like a Pookie Monster clip. Every time they cut to their relationship, it's just like very like I'm like, okay, like whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I like you too. And then it's like
Pookie Monster, like it's the most like banal shit. But And then he's like, how about you and Paige? Like, are you going to get engaged soon? And he said that he's quite confident that he will propose this year and that they are both excited about it.
Yes, it makes people sad sometimes, maybe, if you're a Craig head, because you're like, whoa, he really thought he was going to propose, and then that doesn't happen. And then at some point, everybody goes, look at Molly and Shep. Look at them. I think that they're going to kiss. They're so cute together. And then Craig, I think, texted Shep and said, kiss her, please. You guys.
It felt like they were like, the activities they were doing, it was like they were like locked in a gymnasium, like with like time to kill. Like they were like, let's measure your wingspan. Let's try to tango. Like I was like, what is this? Like, why are you just like forced to hang out? Like, what are you doing?
Let's go find your shoe. Yeah, it's like, you probably haven't seen The Mist, but it's like when they're locked in this grocery store, they're all going stir crazy. It was just, so for me, it was just representative of how boring this party was, that Molly and Shep felt like they had to be the full energy of the room.
They're like, I spy.
With my little eye. There's the shoe you kicked off earlier. And then they go, well, I think they're going to kiss. We like this couple. And then Molly says, I think I am going to kiss this man,
Doesn't
Shep.
someone say that they texted her to kiss him?
I think so. I thought Craig maybe texted Shep and said, kiss her now. And maybe other people were texted. They're like, we need something here. Molly kisses. It's a 9 out of 10 kiss, as she describes it. Literally, fireworks are blowing off in the back. And then they kiss so nice they had to do it twice. One more kiss, too. And everybody goes, yes! Oh, God, yes!
Shep is like, that was awfully nice.
He goes, I've never kissed you before. So that was a good kiss. And then they cheer, cut to black, right? The end of the episode.
Yeah. 2 hours later, it says Molly's dry spell ended.
Wow.
And then it says 2 months later, JT and Vanita started dating until, and it shows him posting on IG, him and his girlfriend, and then it says Vanita unfollowed.
Now, what the hell is going on here? Well, first of all, I have to say about the 2 hours. So they left at 12 o'clock, and then maybe at 2 a.m. they had sex with each other. Is that what you were?
I guess so. I don't know where they got that timestamp, but
2 hours. Like, when did you guys have sex?
Consummate.
But yeah, no. So wait, I didn't know this. The 2 months later thing.
Yeah.
JT and Vanita dated. He broke up with that girlfriend, and
Aren't they
dated.
still together now? Like, isn't she commenting on Vanita's posts like currently?
Yeah, just when I thought there couldn't be any more curveballs in the JT and Vanita relationship timeline, I didn't know that this happened at all. He quit the show. He broke up with his girlfriend. Then he started dating.
But now
Vanita.
he's back with that girlfriend again.
And then the Instagram post that they show to clarify that JT, it said like. What did it say? It said something like better late than never. Back
Long overdue.
Long overdue with my girlfriend. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
We're going to need the timeline at the reunion.
I have to say, because some people say this, so I'm going to say it. I don't know what that's called when I speak for the world, but some people say that Vanita and JT might just fully be doing this thing around to give this season a little more fun, and that Vanita, I seriously love Vanita's like thinking that Vanita is in love with JT, because like when she was calling him yummy and like saying your haircut looks so good, she goes, oh my God, she goes, fire that barber, but your fucking haircut looks amazing.
She can't help herself.
She goes, you look handsome. I love that if it's real, but also I don't doubt the but I don't know. I don't imagine JT faking his way through a bunch of shit either. Mm-hmm. But maybe they just teased this relationship a little more than it actually had, to give us some entertainment on Southern Charm. Some people say that that's the case. Yeah.
No, that's like, if I have any questions that need to be answered from the reunion, I want like definitive timelines, which it sounds like from the preview, she goes and gets her phone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I guess that's one thing I care about there. Okay, then we get 5 months later, and it's all the headlines of Craig and Paige breaking up, and we see that they picked up the cameras January 2025, so recently.
Yep.
And Shep says he got a message from Rodrigo telling him, like, did you see the news? And Craig comes over to talk to Shep and Austin, and he says everything was normal at Thanksgiving, you know, like with her family. And then a few weeks after that, she called saying, we need to talk. And they're like, that's never good. But this is where everything he says from here on out is so cut up and like fast and weird. But he does say that Paige said, I need to find myself again. I need to take control of my life, and we need to break up.
Yep. Yeah, and then Shep says, you know, it's just like a question and answer. It's just like chopped up to shit. It's like, you didn't want to release that statement to the world. And he goes, no, because I didn't want it to be real. I didn't want this thing to be real. And he goes, also, I wanted to tell you both so bad, especially Austin, not you, Shep. I wanted to tell Austin that this had happened, but I knew Austin couldn't stop himself from running around town saying this to everyone. And Austin goes, oh, okay. You know, it's like not a very nice thing to say to someone that,
right.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, he reveals that he had designed a ring in New York before last summer. So like pre-Summer House that we're watching, I guess.
Yeah. He needs to bring this ring to the reunion and show it to everybody.
Yeah. And then she was like, actually hold off. I wonder if he designed it, but he didn't buy it. Like it was like a proof of concept.
All right, we'll bring the proof of concept blueprints of the ring because I want to see it.
Print it out. And so yeah, she was like, actually no. So it sounds like she was waffling. Yeah. And he says that he offered to move to New York and raise kids in Manhattan.
Whoa.
And that she was like, you will resent me forever if you do that, which I think is probably true because he has, you know, he's like, that's no way to live vibes.
It's just like Alec Baldwin and Hilaria Baldwin raising kids in New York City.
It's wild.
It's like, holy shit. And then Craig alluded to this on Watch What Happens Live. He goes, Andy Cohen, you know that I was ready to move to New York City for Paige. So that last hurdle, wouldn't have been there. But those two major steps probably made Paige think, you know, she all of a sudden she closed her eyes and she was like, I don't want this future. It scares me or makes me pissed more than it does bring me joy.
Yeah, like he removed every barrier that they had. He's like, okay, fine, you don't even have to move. I'll do whatever you want. And she was still like, no.
No, I don't think so. You stay in Charleston, Craig. And so that's it. We get the bare minimum. No emotion, no Austin and Shep like really thinking about this. I of course, we already said this 100 times, but half of the episode could have been this one conversation. I'll take like him offering him that athletic non-alc. I wanted to see a scene, not just the clips from this thing. Yeah. So it was a really shitty way to handle such powerful material.
Big
that any
news.
Yeah.
He said also that he couldn't believe that they were giving up something that was so good in so many ways. Like he's like, we check so many boxes. Like we have great chemistry. Our sex life is awesome. Like we get along really well. And you know, but ultimately, their big battle is he thinks that love. He says love should be enough.
He goes, I'm a rom-com guy, and love overcomes all, but not in this case. It just couldn't.
Not in New York City.
Not in New York City. He's like, his rom-com brain was completely blown because he would think that they would make this thing work.
Yes.
So
going into the after show, right before we get into just talking about Craig and Paige. The only thing is, Austin calls boobs hose hounds. Vanita says that Ryan didn't talk to her for 4 months after that, which I'm like, that's pathetic.
He was so pissed that he had to account for what he said, and it wasn't even that forceful or dramatic at all. Vanita was pretty nice the entire time to him. Yeah.
And she admits that she was in love with JT to some degree, but then he did her dirty, and so now she wants him dead.
Yeah, wants his head on a pillar or something. Or
okay, so now it's everyone talking about Paige. Shep is pissed. He goes, it is total BS that Paige didn't go on one single trip while dating Craig. He's like, you think I can get away with that? And they show like clips of him, I guess, having to it was like that one time when he invited like Taylor, but weren't they
Yeah,
I don't know.
they weren't even.
Up?
Yeah, they were broken up. It was like last season. It wasn't a good. What the hell is going on in Southern Charm? It wasn't a good clip. It was like it was
a 1-to-1.
It was Taylor and Olivia. They got invited to the cabin to hang out with all of them. I don't really understand why this is like. Shep has said this before. He said this last season. I think he goes, "Why don't they ever hang out and go on trips?" It's like I get it, I guess, but I don't understand why.
She has her own show.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe she gets a horrible rate on this show, and she doesn't want the drama of going on a cast trip with you all. They're not paying her enough or something. Yeah. And Shep is more like morally or ethically she should have to film with him, or he thinks that Craig is getting out of something by not showing their full relationship on camera. That's something he said last season. So he's still like, he just has no relationship with Paige, so he's able to just go off on her, and not have any retribution because he knows she probably hates him.
Yeah.
The rest of the cast, not Patricia, the rest of the cast is like vacillating between potentially being Team Paige. No one wants to say, I don't like Paige at all and never liked her because they know that the way the internet winds are blowing, people are more Team Paige. Break up with Craig,
She's a powerful Bravo person. But yeah, Patricia is like, Paige never made an attempt to get to know Charleston. Like they're all like, it's kind of giving like anti-Yankee sentiment. Like she thinks she's too good for Charleston.
I thought so too. I sensed some anti-Yankee animosity at some of the charms of Charleston, that Paige was completely immune to them. And then Shep is also going, she never filmed with any of us. And then Austin's like, he didn't want to say anything, but he's like, I filmed with her. They all had a party at Craig's house, and Paige was there. She was talking to everybody. She just didn't go to their group events and their trips, and I'm sure there's some contractual shit for why Paige didn't want to do that. Go all in on the Southern Charm entertainment side of things.
Right. I didn't write down who said it, but I thought it was funny when they were like, all their scenes were just Craig making breakfast or them like pruning roses, and they did have evidence of that.
I think that was still Step that was Shep, I think, still getting pissed.
And then Craig is like, well, I'm handling this breakup better than in the past. Luckily, I didn't stab my wall this time, which I'm literally haunted. I bring it up all the time. I'm haunted by him stabbing his wall with a butter knife and like destroying his tendons. And he goes, he basically is saying like, I was a good boyfriend. Her birthday, I don't know when her birthday is, but like her last birthday before the breakup, I guess, he got her a bag from the Row for her birthday. And
what's that?
It's the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's high fashion brand, but it's very hoity-toity and very expensive.
Whoa, okay. I know Birkins, whatever Sutton or Jennifer Tilly brings on Beverly Hills, but I don't know about that one, the Row. It's up there?
It's, very expensive.
Wow. I have to say, I want to say this. I think I love Madison more than life itself. 10 out of 10 cast member. But for some reason, her absolute loyalty to Craig in the after show, I was getting a little like, what the hell is going on here? I know Craig needs an ally, but she was like, the next person you get is gonna love that wallpaper making corner in your house. And he goes, it was wrapping paper station. And she goes, whatever it was, that was fucking amazing. And he goes, I got a great gift. I'm a good gift giver. And she goes, you are good at everything, Craig. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I get being Team Craig, but I don't think she needed to give him absolute deference over all of these things. It was like a little too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, she was just trying to get through the after show secretly pregnant, I think.
So she just deferred to like shining Craig on. Yeah. Okay, then now let's go to an even more explosive after show. I can't believe these things were just head to head and you have to watch both to get the full story.
I know, it sucks. I'm like, because we now get to watch Summer House a little earlier, so that means that we record before the after show, and it's like, this is actually the first after show, I think. So we didn't even know it was coming.
I don't understand, though. What is going on with these after shows? They're start
so willy-nilly.
I think the Southern Charm had 2 after shows. Yeah. Like, what is going on? You just pick up camera. Why not
they just do it if they can, I guess? It's so disorganized.
It's really sloppy. It's like that Jackson Brittany watch-a-thon thing. It's like, what is this?
And when Patricia was talking, she like wasn't mic'd.
Yeah, they also, this is so ridiculous, but like I'll watch scenes and I'll turn it up because I'm like, I can't hear Vanita. And then the next scene will be the loudest thing I've ever heard. It's like, mix this thing. This is a show. It's on Peacock. Like,
They just don't give a shit. It's total just like icing on top. They're like, we'll just throw it in and people will definitely watch it. And
Totally.
it goes, all the clips always go viral because
Yeah.
it's like perfect
Yeah.
like commentary.
Yeah. Now we're full anti-Craig. There is no Craig sympathy on this side of the Bravo wars at all.
Yeah.
It is Team Paige through and through. Sierra and Amanda and Paige are together, and they are just ripping into Craig, telling all the everything about basically how Paige felt, during their relationship.
Yeah, Sierra is so fired up. Paige is saying that there's a lot she couldn't see while she was in the relationship. She tolerated too much. She said every time she had a career milestone, he made it about him. She said, which we know to a certain degree, that she had to do a lot of damage control on his behalf. And then at one point she started having panic attacks, like related to her live shows, but she was also worried about what he had going on, so it just didn't help, and that he used those panic attacks as telling her that she needed to slow down. And apparently Amanda brings up that Craig had watched a documentary about ABBA, and it was about how hard touring is on their families and how like the marriages were breaking up and stuff like that. And it appears that Paige doesn't even know who ABBA is, which I find disappointing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, they made some amazing songs. Maybe she wasn't sure which band it was because she half watched it, but no, I mean, I think it sounded like she didn't know who ABBA was.
She was like, there's some like Norwegian band or something, and Sierra goes, what are we even talking about? Like, this is so random. I'm like, they're like one of the most famous bands of all time, and we have 2 Mamma Mia movies in the past 15 years.
Yeah, Paige, if you haven't watched Mamma Mia 1 and 2, what the hell are you doing? Watch that before you go on tour. You'll feel amazing at how much fun people
cure
can
your
have.
anxiety.
Oh, that is about as fun as a watch as it gets. And then also she said that I got to the point where I couldn't even tell him things. And I was thinking of all the examples of this. Like, I bet it was when like Giggly Squad was like number 2 on Apple Podcasts, or number 1. And like, you don't want to say that because you're now going to think about how Craig views how successful you are and how that's going to be more time dedicated to Giggly Squad. You're getting more popular, and Craig is always going to be taking things in the view that this all separates us from our future, where I just want a kid and a farm and 2 chickens. And so now I can't even say things like Giggly Squad is fucking rising up the ranks of Apple Podcasts. So she couldn't share those with her. And she said the perfect person in her life is going to be someone that she wants to go to with all of these beautiful moments. And before even her dad. And she goes, Craig was not that person.
Yeah. Yeah, she did say that beta blockers helped her with her performance anxiety, though.
That is amazing. Through my experience of beta blockers, I've had about 7 of them. They don't do shit mentally. They just slow your heart rate down, I think.
Okay. Also, we get into the Craig v. Kyle of it all, and Paige says that Kyle doesn't need to have any regrets. So she's basically like, fuck Craig. Like, I have no loyalty to him anymore.
That was huge. Yeah. Kyle just got one of the biggest wins on earth that you can have in the Bravo realm. Paige.
I mean, you could tell that, like, when it happened, of course, Paige was like, don't put me in the mix on this because this isn't my business. Like, she was basically like, that's between you guys. I don't even care. She didn't even try that hard to defend the way Craig went about it. Like, she tried a little bit, and then Amanda was like, no, he said this and then did this and whatever. I think Paige knew inside that, like, she's like, Craig probably fucked that up, but like, I can't deal with that. Like, that's not my problem.
Yes. I don't think that she doubted that he probably did say misleading things in his text message and that text messages to Kyle. And that's why she didn't really want to full-throatedly defend him. She just wanted to say, this is none of my business. But she was thinking the entire time. So I could not believe that she said Kyle was within his rights to say Craig is a liar.
Yes. Also, I had a little turtle cutie DM'd us about, we were discussing if we thought Spritz Society or Loverboy was better, and they did a taste test, and she said that Spritz Society was a 2 out of 10.
Oh.
She said it was foul.
Oh my God. 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
I can't even think of another drink that would be a 2 out of 10. I don't think I've ever had a drink like that in my life.
Yeah, it sounds really bad.
I didn't doubt. I was like, why the hell do we even have to talk about this Spritz Society shit? I'm a lover boy stan through and through.
I saw someone tagged us that Craig did he did a photo shoot where it was like, Spritz Spring has sprung. And it was like he was pulling carrots out of the ground, but they were Spritz cans.
I could not believe it when you sent that. It's him burying spritzes in the yard as if they're going to grow, and he's pulling them out like vegetables. Like, what the hell is going on? No wonder Paige didn't want to do these sponsorships with you. She didn't want to go to that Panera thing, and certainly she doesn't want to go be planting Spritz Society cans in the dirt next to you and say Spritz has sprung. So that gave evidence now that he is still on the Spritz payroll. He's got a percentage, and he's able to do just Spritz Society ads whenever he wants to, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he talks about them very much.
Right. I know. I want to know the details on how much he actually got paid for that. Okay, then we get to Carl getting laid of it all. Mm-hmm. And West is like, if I just broke off an engagement, I'd be in the streets.
Yeah.
And Lexi actually throws Carl a nice bone. And within this conversation, or in this episode, Gabby is pretty nice about Carl, actually. She goes, like, it's his right to move on. Everyone thinks I hate him, but I actually love him to death. I was like, oh, that's interesting to hear. I wouldn't have guessed that. But Lexi says that she's had some heartfelt conversations with Carl in which he said, I wasn't sober for a year before I got with Lindsay, which I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And so he sort of restarted the clock once they broke up and was like, I should have spent a year of, like relationship sobriety as well. So that's kind of like why he went that long. And Kyle is like, I think that Carl started to bring this stuff up and reveal it to us all so that the boys could give him a little push to like be bold and like go have some fun. And he got into this interesting timeline, which I think we all moved on too quickly from because it all happened so fast. But he was like, I didn't want to go on dates when the show was airing that I was still engaged on. Like on TV, I was still engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, we all went, it was like Turner, Koofy, Lindsay, Kyle, Carl, all of them went to that wedding in like Portugal or whatever, where Lindsay was 7 or 8 weeks pregnant, but on the show they were still engaged.
Yeah.
So like that's such a mind fuck of like watching that on TV, you're still together. In real life, you're broken up and she's pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kyle's like, you got to think about the timelines of this shit. He's like, for all of you viewers, it's like we are 6 months past, what you are watching, and we're a completely different state of mind. So it makes sense from Carl's standpoint why he didn't want to be barreling towards the future while he was still in the throes of what he was actually going through with Lindsay. I feel like Kyle's being kind of mean to Carl in this thing. He was going, this man just needs soft and tenderness. Sorry, I had to do it. And he goes, at a certain point, he goes, I go, Carl, you just need a mocktail. And I was like, what the hell? Like, he was being not very sensitive to Carl at all.
Carl loved the mocktail comment.
Oh, did he? I didn't see.
Like, that's our thing, mocktails.
Oh, I thought Kyle was just being mean, like, get over it or something. But, I don't know, maybe Kyle was just in a bad mood.
Yeah. And then, did you notice that they have, for some reason, Lindsay does her after show alone?
Yeah, I wasn't sure why.
And the producer is like, they're talking about how she was pregnant, and she goes, you were pregnant with his baby, and she goes, my baby that he helped me with. And I was like, ah! I was like, are you guys together? I need to know.
I know, I needed to know it too. Yeah, I was like, that producer is going to regret the day they misspoke for a second in front of Lindsay about that.
And Lexi also says that Carl needs someone soft. Jesse pictures Carl with a nice, normal corporate girly who's not on TV. Paige, for some reason, says that maybe he should date a divorcee with kids. And Sierra's like, what the fuck? No way.
She goes, I don't think he's giving me stepdaddy energy. What the hell are you talking about?
She's like, he just needs to go have fun, which I agree with. Like, he can just, like, spend some time, like, relaxing. And Carl is like, he just turned 40, and he's like, I'm starting to look around, and I'm not as far as a lot of people I know, but he'll get there. I know it. One of our commenters said that they saw that Carl was at Coffee Con, and that they will have high quality caffeinated beverages at Soft Bar.
Yes!
But I think I'm going to New York in a few weeks, and it won't be open yet.
You and I on Patreon, I believe. Or was that? No, that was last week's episode. We said we were speculating about Soft Bar. Good. I'm glad you clarified. Yeah, so there's going to be coffee drinks, but I lied, and I said, I think Soft Bar is open. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but it's not going to be there. So next time maybe if you and I go to New York someday, we get to go to Soft Bar together, or if you go before me, but it's not in the cards this time, sadly.
Yeah. And then this after show ends with West talking about, they don't say her name, but it's that he made out with Brianna Chicken Fry. And he's like, I hooked up with a couple of people and they made TikToks about it. And like, there's a bunch of bullshit going around. I was like, every time he does, like, he on the show isn't saying anything about what he's doing. And then when he does get candid, it comes out sounding so wrong.
Yeah, he was like, what did he say? He was in New Orleans and it was 4 a.m. and somebody put a microphone in front of his face. And that's when he said, I just got to make out with Chicken Fry.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I didn't know that it would be such a big deal that I would just say, that there would be, headlines about that. And he goes, I'm going to watch what I say and I'm going to tell the next person that talks to me at 4 a.m. and I'm going to say, nice try, dickhead.
Right. Yeah, he has to learn the clickbait, news generator that he should just say nothing. But we'll see what happens. I don't know if he's going to get up to too much this season. But...
No, next season, I think West will be more honest about, be able to be more honest about the relationships and hooking up. But he wasn't ready to deal with that this season, knowing that Sierra was still, hurt or not hurt, but was still pissed off. Yeah. And so that kind of makes sense to me. And he's trying to be more candid in these after shows about what's truly going on. It doesn't look good for Carl and Lil, I'll just say. The way that they talked about Lil was kind of like she was, people compared her, this is a good comparison, they said it was, I think a Villa Rosa VIP, I want to give them credit, said it was reminding them of Joe from Vanderpump Rules a little too silly and quirky. They said that at one point somebody stumbled upon her and she was just rolling around in a tarp back and forth. And they go, no. We found out that she was just doing the worm on her own in the corner there. And they go, yeah, she's really nice. I don't know really what was going on there. And so I think they kind of made me expect that this is not continuing past this, the way they talked about her.
Agreed.
All right.
But yeah, I look forward to this week's. I still think Summer House has been strong. It's been like fun,
so
which is
fun.
Its purpose.
Oh, Summer House is so fun. And this after show brought it. I mean, this after show was so fun. I mean, every moment of it was great. So thankfully we have Summer House, and thankfully Southern Charm is going to, it bit the dust. We've got 2 more reunions and then it's over, and they need to recalibrate and retool and figure out what works and what doesn't, because season 10 did not work. Yep. And no reunion is going to save you all. That's just too bad. It was like a 4 or a 5 out of 10. It made last season look like Vanderpump Rules season 2 or something. It was rough as hell. But let's you and I start to wind down. I want to apologize to everyone. If you watched the video, you saw me looking like sick as a dog, coughing and sneezing. Amy sneezed one time. I want to apologize for how my voice sounds. I hope that what Amy and I said made this entertaining despite me being sick and sounding like shit. So I just wanted to apologize.
Yeah. Norman kept trying to bust in on me.
Yeah.
He was making my camera rattle because he was scratching himself, but that's just par for the course.
This was a truly remote turtle time. I mean, you and I are far away from each other, but I hope it worked out. But anyway, I want to say, I'm going to make this quick, but if you love Turtle Time and you said, oh my God, nobody's being honest about Southern Charm. Everybody said that finale was rockin' and really cool. And you're like, what? But I just went to Turtle Time and I thought it was shit. And they said exactly how I think. then why not continue that journey of listening to Turtle Time, where there's a whole new forum for you. If you want even more Turtle Time, it's called the Turtle Time Patreon. It's $5 a month, and you get access to over 100 episodes where Amy and I are recapping Vanderpump Rules from the very beginning. Amy and I have the same takes where we'll talk about Carl randomly and Soft Bar and talk about films and a bunch of different shit, but also we're completely rallying around Vanderpump Rules, and that's our focus there. But I think it's fun. I think our Villa Rosa VIPs enjoy it. We also, obviously, we have discussions over there where people send us fun stuff. I think West's penis, magic eye penis, came from the Villa Rosa VIP community.
True. It's a little army of like-minded people. That's where they go, I listened to Lisa Vanderpump on Stassi's podcast in 2016. Here are the highlights. So it's like, you know, many hundreds of people that like what you like. And,
yes.
You know, but it's friendly.
Yes, and Amy and I say this to the Villa Rosa VIPs. We love you all so much, and even though we don't get back to every comment, like we are loving life every time one rolls in, and we love it, and we think about all of them. So that's a wonderful place if you want to be more tapped into the Turtle Time ethos over there. And then lastly, please, you know, if you have 20 seconds or 30 seconds, you don't know what the hell to do with your time, why not pop over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube? Give us a thumbs up on YouTube or a comment over there or a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Spotify has comments. Did you even know that? It's like hard to read them and get to them, but there's some fun comments on Spotify. So if you listen to Spotify, leave us a comment. I love seeing those secret Spotify comments that show up.
I know. I'm like, what even is this format? But I get the little updates on my phone and I get excited. So
I get so excited too. All right, that's it. Amy, thank you for tolerating me today. Thank you for tolerating my remote schedule. We will be back. We're going to do an episode just like, you know, you expect, coming out on Thursday. I'll still be remote, but I think it'll be fun as hell because we'll be talking about something we truly love, which is Summer House.
Yes.
And maybe a little dip into that shitty season of Beverly Hills.
It's almost done.
All right. Bye, Amy. Bye, Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs. We love you. We'll be back very soon. Goodbye.